next up, we have Troy Hashimoto running for State Representative District 8 seat.
Amber, good evening.
Hi, Troy. All right, we'll start. If you could share your top 3 priorities and why.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your endorsement. I think it's always great to work with the Chamber and all of your initiatives at the state capitol. I think there's many bills that impact businesses that we do have to keep out on the look for, and we have to make sure that those bills do not adversely impact small business, because it's the backbone of our economy. And so I think for me, my top 3 priorities, number 1, of course, like everyone else, is really just getting our economy open and getting businesses back open. I think I had a conversation yesterday with a bunch of small business owners, and everyone's hurting. And I think the governor was well-intentioned to keep Hawaii closed for another month. But I think, we know a lot of things now about COVID-19, and I think we have to really figure out this testing. And everyone needs to get that test quickly. And I think part of why he probably delayed it was because he couldn't figure it out. But I think the governor needs to make that priority number 1 in trying to figure out how to, get this testing going so that we can reopen our flights from the mainland, so at least we can have a chance at some of these businesses surviving, because without that, I think a lot more businesses will be closing. Of course, the next thing that is another top priority for me is really looking at investments in our community. And I think I have great partners in the House and the Senate, Rep. Yamashita and Senator Keith Agarand, who really help with investments in our community. And I want to be a part of that team to make sure that we continue to get more of those funds. I think for my area, including with Rep. Woodson, we're really looking at a new middle school that really needs to happen.
Yes.
To make sure that our communities are not overcrowded in our schools. I think we want to look at road infrastructure investments, especially I think a lot of my constituents make that drive almost every single day to work to the west side at the height of the economy. So I think that is very important to people living in central Maui. I think it's about moving our jail that we have in central Maui to a new location, because obviously we had a lot of problems that took place over the past year. And then so the third priority is investing in Maui College. And I think Rep. Woodson and I share Maui College along with Senator Keith Agarand. And I think that is going to be a backbone for our future. Education is critically important. And if we're going to figure out how to move forward with our economy, it's not going to happen without us having a strong educational system to be able to educate students right here on Maui without having to go to Oahu or to the mainland. And I think we need to help Maui College to be more adaptable and, have those type of educational opportunities that they can stay here easily. And I think one of the big things that I think, Don Couch brought up was he wanted to see us diversify into the medical field. And I think we were on the cusp of actually having a cohort of John A. Burns School of Medicine right here on Maui before COVID struck. So that shouldn't go to the wayside. I think we're going to continue fighting for that. But Maui College truly needs investment as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great, thank you so much. What government factors do you see impacting Hawaii's high cost of living, and what are some things you could do to address that?
I think the bottom line with our high cost of living is, where do most of people's paychecks go? And that is to housing. And so I think, we need to really work on housing costs throughout our community. I think on Maui, we specifically are actually targeted by the Hawaii Community Foundation to really work on affordable housing. And I think we're glad to have that partner, because when you take a look at the reality, most developers are actually leaving Maui because they don't really want to develop because it's too hard. You look at the Spencer family, they kind of gave up, and they were a Kama'aina family who were trying to invest in our community. And so we're going to really have to figure out how to make more housing. And I think part of that we've been really discussing at the legislature, and I think I have to give kudos to Rep. Yamashita for really pushing this forward, is we have to stop making the developers pay for a lot of the infrastructure, because that is what is deterring them that is what is driving up costs. And I think we really tried to make a concerted effort at the legislature to find ways to begin picking up those infrastructure costs so that it gives incentives for developers to move forward on their developments. And we'll continue to push forward with that. It's not going to be easy. It takes a lot of money, but it's a partnership between the state and the county to figure out how we move forward in that respect.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We have time for one more quick question. What actions do you think are needed to both sustain our visitor industry and address sea level rise?
Well, to sustain our visitor industry, I think the bottom line is we need to kind of rethink how we, are allowing visitors to come to Maui. I think we're going to have to target higher spend visitors rather than the masses like we were at the peak of the economy. I think people are going to have to expect that, Maui is the higher end destination, so you're going to have to pay more. And I think our policies will have to dictate that. And I think Haleakala is a really good model for that. They have a reservation system now for Sunrise. They charge for admission. And I think we're going to have to start doing that for a lot of our visitor destinations, such as our state and county parks, for non-residents. And I wanted to emphasize it's for non-residents. And so when people have to, they know that they're going to have to pay, I think they'll think twice about going. And I think that is really where we're at this point, is we can't be giving away our best asset, which is Maui as a tourist destination. And so I think of course we're gonna have to charge for parking, admission, and all of those upkeep services if you want to utilize them that you're typically getting for free. Regarding sea level rise, that is a very difficult question, because I think we're facing that throughout our community right now. I think a lot of entities, I think all throughout the state, are looking at, of course, their beach erosion. So they're quickly trying to get funds to replenish their beach and nourish their beaches so that they have so that their buildings won't fall into the ocean. But I think that's our new normal. And I think we're going to have to start preparing for that, whether we like it or not. But I think it's going to be very costly. You take a look at some of these renourishment projects, especially on Kaanapali Beach, it's millions of dollars. And so I think we're going to have to find revenue streams to pay for these costs. I think I sit on the transportation committee, and I think the Hawaii Department of Transportation is really concerned about the sea level rise, and they are actually planning for what is the cost to move some of our roadways away from the ocean. And it's expensive. It's in the billions of dollars. And I think all we can do is, other than, for new roads, we're going to have to make sure that we put them inland, but for the existing ones, we're going to have to find that revenue somewhere. And it's going to be a difficult time to figure out, to find those finances to do so. So I think we're going to have to start slowly, but it's a reality that we're going to have to face within the next 10 to 15 years.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us.